Hey, what's going on, guys? John Shea here, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about a tool called Deadline Funnel. So what I'm going to do in this Deadline Funnel review is I'm going to walk you through what Deadline Funnel is. We're going to go through the sales page. We're going to talk about what the pricing is all about, some of the integrations. I'm going to log you into the Deadline Funnel admin, and I'm going to walk you through some of the features and settings, things like that, so you can kind of get an idea of what's inside this tool if you decide to pick it up for yourself. And then I'm actually going to walk you through a live sales funnel that I have that I'm personally using Deadline Funnel on, so you can see it in action. Now, just to start out, Deadline Funnel is basically a scarcity tool that allows you to add a countdown timer to your sales pages. So if you're selling a product online, and let's say you do this big product launch for an online course, you might want to add some scarcity to the sales page, and that's exactly what Deadline Funnel does. It's going to allow you to basically go out there and add this countdown timer to your sales page, so that when people get hit with your pitch to say, hey, we've opened up the doors, it's going to be live for the next 3 days, then during that period of time they have to make the decision to buy. And if they don't make that decision to buy, then they're going to lose out and that page will no longer be available to them. So the idea here is that you're kind of opening the doors for a limited period of time. Maybe it's 3 or 4 days, maybe a little longer, maybe it's less. And on top of that, once the countdown timer expires, if they did not buy, then basically they now are sent to some sort of page where they're basically told, hey, you missed out and you have to sign up on a wait list. So I'll show you exactly what that all looks like, and we're going to walk through the sales page now just to kind of show you some of the features the Deadline Funnel includes. So one of the first things is they do have a little kind of like demo-ish video here, why this is an important tool to get. You can see there's lots of experts that use this. Some of the people that stand out to me are people like Ryan Lee, Perry Marshall, David Siteman, Garland. He's the one I heard about Deadline Funnel from. And yeah, a lot of people that use this. They integrate with most major service providers like Infusionsoft, Aweber, MailChimp. I'm using ConvertKit myself, so it integrates with that very well, and it does have like an enhanced integration. So as soon as someone lands on my ConvertKit email list, everything is just firing right off the start, and Deadline Funnel works with it perfectly. Basically, you can see here you can add animated countdowns to all of your landing pages, offers, upsells, and order forms. So this is kind of a little preview there of what that looks like. I'll show you a better one as we go through. And one of the cooler features that Deadline Funnel can do is it will actually add a countdown timer inside of the email, and everything is automatically synced up with the sales page timer. So as soon as someone opts into that list, not only are they going to see a timer in their emails if you choose to, but they'll also see that same timer with the exact same time on the sales page. So they don't even have to click on the link to end up going to they don't even have to click on the link to end up going to the sales page to see how much time is left. So it really boosts up that scarcity level. And as you know, with email marketing, not every single person is going to click on the link. It's probably a small percentage of the people that actually open the email are even going to go check out the offer. Again, you can create evergreen deadlines. So this is something where every time someone comes into the funnel, it's just going to restart them over with a combination of a cookie, the IP address, and their email address to make sure the deadline is consistent. So they have some really cool features to set that up. Everything is very easy to get going with. They have like this kind of quick start thing. You just fill in all these questions, like what time do you want the deadline in, how many days, what product are you promoting, what's the URL of the sales page, and it kind of sets everything up for you. And then it allows you to go through this quick start guide where they kind of give you like a checklist of all the things you'll be able to do. So we'll go through that. Again, they do have a 14-day free trial, so if you want to check it out, there's no reason not to sign up. Just play around with it, see if it's something you want to do. In terms of pricing, they started this freelance mode up to 1,000 leads per month is $37 per month, and then if you go up to the professional, it goes up to 10,000 leads per month. And consultant, you basically get unlimited everything and 100,000 leads, which I imagine most of you will never get. Probably not anytime soon get to that level. So with freelance, you get up to 3 campaigns. That's what I'm running right now. Let's actually go through. The rest of this is pretty much testimonials, some videos and stuff. So let's actually dive in, and I'll show you the back end. We can walk through it. So here's actually the back end. As soon as you come in, I'm actually using my partner Paul's account. you have the ability to go in and edit the different types of campaigns. So I actually have 3 of them. This is one sales funnel. This is one I did as a one-off launch in February. And then this is another evergreen funnel for that same one I did in February. So I'm able to kind of split them up in groupings. I'm going to go into this one now, which I'm using more actively. So once I select this, it kind of brings me into a main dashboard here. You have one of 6 areas you can go through. So this is kind of the quick start guide. And they'll initially ask you all these questions as I showed on the sales page. They'll kind of go through all these different questions, have you fill in all the information you need. And then you kind of have these step 1, step 2, step 3, setting up the opt-in page to integrate the WordPress code you need so everything works. Setting up your email. You can see here, if I actually uncheck this so we can actually see it a little better, it'll note, every time you link your main sales page from ConvertKit, make sure you use the expiring link. So they have all this stuff that they give you specifically for whatever provider you pick. So if I was using Aweber, then it would have specific directions for Aweber. So that's one really cool thing I like about this. Then they have a web page countdown. This basically is setting up the countdown, what page that shows up on, how to set that up and make sure that it works, and customizing it the way you want. And then finally testing everything to make sure that it works, which they have a pretty cool test board. So again, as you go through this, this is more or less what's in the quick start, but we have funnel steps. So this is like kind of a step-by-step of what's happening. So when someone lands on my sales page, which is seoconsultingblueprint.com/SEO-enroll, they'll see the floating bar timer and they'll be redirected to the main homepage after their deadline expires. When someone lands on this page, this is my opt-in page, it's actually a different website, I have a pixel that occurs as soon as, this is basically the thank you page for this, and I'll show you this in a second. Once they hit, this pixel fires, they'll basically have their deadline started right away. So I know that if someone has opted in and they're landing on this page, unless somehow they found the page through Google, which is pretty unlikely, then ultimately this is going to fire off and that deadline starts right away. And then you have your email set up. So these are like the codes you can integrate into your deadline funnel. This is a special link that you use inside your emails, and all that stuff basically gets integrated automatically, so it's redirected and all the data is just synced up for that person that's subscribed. Then you can configure the appearance. So here's the timer that I'm using. You can choose between different types of timers, like what the email one looks like. You can kind of go through the different options here. So this is what the email timer looks like. They give you pre-configured templates, so you can pick what the timer looks like. They don't have a ton of them for email, but I didn't need anything crazy. Something like this is perfectly fine. You can change colors, you can hide labels, and then you can even make it so if they open the email at a later time, it'll show this big expired graphic. So that's kind of cool. You can also upload a custom image for this. So if you guys do want to use that, you can always upload your own, but I didn't see any reason to do that. I'm just using this one. For that inline countdown, you do get a few more templates that they give you. Most of these look pretty slick. You can change a lot of the features. If you go into customize, you can change everything from background to colors to what the hours look like. All this stuff, you can change everything. There's like percentages. You can get pretty crazy with this. And then you can also set where the floating bar is going to be. You could make it at the top of the page, at the bottom, the delay. You can change what the text is, and there's even some specialized code that will add in a date. So it says enrollment closes on. I actually changed this. I think it had something else originally, so I made it say enrollment closes on, and then this is the date. And you could change the font, colors, all that stuff is configurable. So I actually went in and changed this background to blue to match my sales page. And then you've got some other base settings, so you can make sure it's in live mode. You've got some other things in here for like how long the deadline is, what time zone. You can see I'm using Pacific time, Los Angeles. What type of email integration, what provider you're using, the language. You've got some advanced settings, so you could like delay the countdown, prevent prospects in the funnel from viewing the opt-in form. You can do some crazy stuff to make it so there's a little bit more restriction if you want. And then you got some more code snippets, so you've got everything for like integrations with WordPress, tracking pixels, HTML, all that stuff you could need, as well as an API integration if you're going to be doing anything with, in my case, I'm using the ConvertKit API to make sure everything fires off correctly and works. One of the great things about this system is they also have tutorials on everything. So if you're someone that's using Aweber and there's some sort of advanced Aweber integration, they're going to show you how to do it. with ConvertKit, they have a video for ConvertKit and how to integrate that. So there's videos on everything and tutorials in their help section. Haven't had any issues with that. In testing, you can actually come in and kind of track your codes. You could send it to other people to have them test it out for you. You can clear the tracking yourself. You can come in and actually hit this button a few times and it will clear the tracking. So if you want to test the countdown and make sure it's working for you, you can do that. On the left pane, you also have kind of the ability to come in and see different things. Like you could view all the countdowns you have for all your funnels. You could add new ones. If you want to use the specific funnel you're in, that just brings me back to the quick start. You can also see stats. I'm not going to come in here but because it's got private email information from the leads I've been collecting, but it will collect IP addresses and emails and the time that people signed up. So you have full kind of tracking capabilities over that, as well as sales tracking. You can set up special triggers, which would basically be integrating different things. Like I'm using the ConvertKit API integration, so that's where these triggers come into play. And they have some other stuff you can set up, like custom URLs and more or less just changing your profile, updating passwords, payment information, so on and so forth. So the interface is really easy to use, really straightforward. Let me actually bring you in and I'm going to show you a live funnel that I have set up now. So this is my opt-in page. I have a product that I'm offering, basically a free course that's called Earn Your First $1,000 Offering SEO Services on Upwork. So it's got a little video here of my partner Paul kind of talking, and then he kind of introduces me. We put together this nice little opt-in page, so there's not only an opt-in at the top but down below as well. As soon as they opt in on this, it starts a 7-day countdown timer, and the countdown timer is set to end at midnight Pacific time on the last night of 7 days from the day they opt in. As soon as they opt in, my Upwork system actually has a sequence that sends out emails automatically over the next 7 days, and the first 3 days is basically sending them, part 1, part 2, part 3 of the video course, and then by the time they get to the end, I pitch them to head over to SEOconsultingblueprint.com/SEO enroll, where they get hit with this sales page, and you can see I kind of matched up the blue color scheme to my deadline funnel. So I actually just reset it for testing purposes to show you guys in this video. But what happens is now this deadline funnel has started. As you can see, it's about 8:47 in the morning for me, and this is going to end on the 7th, so 7 days from today. And what will ultimately happen is if I actually come back here on the 8th of March, I'm actually going to be redirected to the main page. So not only am I, adding scarcity on the sales page itself, but some of the emails that I'm using in ConvertKit have that email integration. So the last 2 emails that I send out, I actually send out 3 emails on the last day, really like letting them know, hey, it's closing, this is like your last chance. And that's really just to push them in to make sure that if they're going to make the decision to buy, then they better hurry up, and they're running out of time. So I have this set up with an enrollment button where they're sent over to a payment processor. It's a pretty long form sales page. We've been kind of testing this out, doing different things, but more or less this has been working really well. I really love the idea of deadline funnel, because what happens is as soon as that countdown timer runs out, they're actually sent to this custom page that I set up called Join the Waiting List. Enrollment for the SEO Consulting Blueprint is currently closed. Enter your email below and we will let you know once we open again. So if you actually let that counter run out on the 8th, in my case, it's going to send you to this page, and they have to click here to join the wait list, and I could choose to later reopen it or send them back through that funnel at a later time, maybe doing a specific funnel that has like a set time and date. So again, I really love deadline funnel overall. I guess I really love the features. The only thing that I'll say is that kind of a downside is the pricing. You do have to pay every month for it, and it's not really the cheapest in terms of a monthly fee. You're paying at least $37 a month. But if you're seriously running a high-end online course, you're doing something like this. I mean, as you can see, I'm selling mine. Let me go back. I'm selling this course for $300. Now, if I even get one sale off this because of deadline funnel, I've literally made my $37 back and then some. So, I mean, I can't really look at the $37 as a bad thing. Unless you're just completely failing to make any sales, then this is something that I definitely recommend you consider. And the reason I love deadline funnel over some of the others is the fact that you can integrate the email into the email provider that you're using, and it's going to be right inside the email. You're not going to be able to do that with any other tool that I'm aware of. So again, thanks for checking out my deadline review video. I'm also going to have a written review. I'll do some screenshots and stuff like that. If you guys decide to pick up Deadline Funnel, again, there will be a trial, but I'm going to leave a link below the video, and if you're looking at this on my blog, you should be seeing it right below the video. I'm going to throw in a bonus for you guys. I'll actually give you kind of a deeper dive look at what I've done with this funnel, so you can see step by step how I set it up and everything that I've done to build it. So I'll give you that case study, and if you guys have any questions for me, feel free to leave a comment or just send me a message and I'll be happy to help.